Good morning, New York Mets Nation, and welcome to the Bat Cave. I'm your host, the Bat Frie, Kenny Frie. Hump day! I hope everybody's having a great week so far. We're halfway there, halfway to the weekend. If you have the weekend off, if not, holiday weekend, I feel bad for you. It's going to be a nice weekend. The next couple of days are going to be, decent, as here in Pennsylvania anyway, mid-70s, high 70s, before the heat comes back and kicks us in the balls. So I'll start off with Pete Alonso. So if I happen to drop out here, there were storms in the area. I know my cable's been in and out, but my Wi-Fi might jump off. But anyway, if for some reason I do glitch or pop out or whatever, we'll try to get her back on. But anyway, so there's been a lot of talk recently. This Nightingale dude has put out there about should the Mets are expected to trade Pete Alonso in the offseason. It'd be interesting. I'm a huge Pete Alonso fan. Pete's my favorite player right now. I do not want the Mets to trade him. I think it'd be a mistake if the Mets traded Pete Alonso. But if they were to trade Pete, I think they could get a really good haul for Pete. He's an okay first baseman. He'd be a terrific DH in the next couple seasons because I don't see him relinquishing that position. I see him wanting to continue to play first base. He's a competitor. He wants to be out on the field every single inning. And it seems like he works hard at trying to get better at first base. He's never going to be a top flight first baseman. But like I think this year he's been okay. He's not been terrible. He's made some mistakes. He's made some terrific plays. But if you're going to trade for Pete Alonso, you're not trading for his glove. You're not trading for his first baseman's mitt. You're trading for his bat, and and the power that comes with it, and the run production. And with his average being down this year, it kind of hurts the Mets' leverage with the trade, potentially for a trade haul. But still, looking at his season since 2019, the dude hits for an okay average, usually 250 to 270, home runs anywhere from I think what was his lowest? I think his lowest total besides COVID. COVID year doesn't count. I think his lowest total might have been in high 30s to up, his rookie year. I think it was his most. He was in the 50s, low 50s. So, I mean, that's it's a hell of a power hitter to get if the Mets were to trade him, and getting some decent assets in return is kind of intriguing for a Mets team that's looking to rebuild their farm system. I'm not for it though. I am totally against it. Find another way. That's how I think about it. But it's something that you do have to kind of explore. We have a couple comments here, and it's not Adam Glenn this time. It's Eileen. Good morning, Eileen. She says good morning to you and me. I just got up 1 minute ago. Oh, good morning then, Eileen. There you go. Get your ass to work. Thank God remote work. First thing I did was turn my laptop on. Second was turn your show on. Atta girl. I understand priorities. I'm okay. I'm cool with being second, taking the silver medal in the Eileen's day here. But at least it's second place. It's better than third place. So Pete Alonso, I think he's too valuable. I think too valuable in the lineup. Now, I don't view Pete as much of a leader. He does answer every question the media asks of him. He's always made himself available to the media. Seems very fan-friendly. New York fans kind of love or hate him for some reason. They feel he's kind of goofy or corny or douchey or whatever for whatever reason. I don't understand it. if he just acts goofy or he says goofy stuff, I don't know. I'm pretty goofy myself, so maybe my goofy radar is just not on. I can't detect other goofiness that's on par with my goofiness. I don't know. I don't know how the goofy radar works. I haven't really subscribed to a goofy radar magazine, but so maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But he has produced. This season has been a struggle. He's been hot and cold, hot, cold. He was hot recently, kind of cooling off now again with his power numbers, with hitting at all. Anyway, you look over the last few games, most of our top of our lineup has been really struggling. From Nimmo to Lindor to McNeil to Pete, those four guys were really raking. I thought they're doing really early mid August, and it seems like the last week and a half or so they've been struggling a little bit, which has been our season in a nutshell. Hey, Jung-Hoo Lee, what's up, buddy? How you doing? Thanks for checking the show out. I've seen you check out other Mets shows as well as my Mets show. I think the last show you checked out was when Phil Haney was on. We had all those echoing issues, so the tank is in full effect. And I'll tell you what. So Frank had some videos. Frank the Tank from Barstool Sports, who was on the show a few weeks ago. He was actually in Philadelphia. He was at a Citizens Bank ballpark, which is a really nice ballpark. I've been there a few times, and he got to meet the Philly fanatic, which was kind of funny. And I don't know if it's at the Phillies top fan or whatever this guy calls himself. And he paints his face up like a baseball, and he has I think blue or red spiked mohawk. But I've seen him dress up for Eagles games as well, where he'll go like the silver face paint and he'll get like a green mohawk type of thing. But he's like a super fan or whatever. He's there messing with Frank and such. And Frank did the hot dog taste test, of course, and gave Philly a decent review. Went to Pat and Gino's Steaks and didn't care for them. So Frank hitting the city of brotherly love up, and he didn't get mugged or anything like that. So I guess that's a win for Frank the Tank. He knows how to handle himself. He's from Jersey, I guess, so northern Jersey. So whatever. So that's my thoughts on the Mets potentially trading Pete Alonso. I'm not a big fan of it, but I do understand why they'd want to do it. To try to get a decent haul, replenish their farm system, kind of deal, or even get players that are already major league level, already in the majors, doing well. It depends on who. I know Milwaukee was a big name at the trade deadline that just recently popped up. That was in talks. Depends on who you talk to. If you talk to Milwaukee, they're really close to making a deal. You talk to them making a deal. So whoever you want to believe in that, it is what it is. So Jung Hoo Lee says Frank and Gino cheesesteaks are my favorite. I'd say so I was down there recently. Well, I shouldn't say recently. It was 2 years ago now for the Mets-Phillies. It was the Phillies opening day. It was against the Mets. DeGrom pitched. I think it was 2021. Opening day in Philly, and we stopped off. I want to say we stopped at Pat's cheesesteaks, and it was all right. I mean, it wasn't anything. I've had better cheesesteaks, at where I live, but I mean, I guess it's kind of like I don't want to say nostalgia, but yeah, maybe like a nostalgic or type of thing or whatever. It's like a rite of passage when you go to Philly that you're supposed to eat a cheesesteak, and the famous ones are Geno's and Pat's, but then reading the comments of Frank the Tank's TikToks when he was doing the taste test for that cheesesteak, there was like 100 different places in Philadelphia that these commenters are saying are way better than Geno's and Pat's, but for some reason Geno and Pat's are I don't know if world famous, but definitely very famous in the East Coast and stuff. So, or at least Northeast, and so they got that way somehow. They were doing something right to get that famous. So, I mean, say what you will about it, and but yeah, next time I'll have to try Geno's. From what I remember, if I remember correctly, we went to Pat's. Geno's had a hell of a line, so we're like, you know what, I'm just gonna get a cheesesteak at Pat's, and like I said, it was all right. It wasn't bad. I got the whiz on it, and it was the first time I had a cheesesteak with whiz on it. It was okay, a little salty, but not bad. And I'm a guy, I like piling all sorts of crap in. I like, the stewed onions or, or cooked onions, however you want to call it. Cooked onions, cooked peppers. I like it with mayonnaise, sometimes, lettuce, all that. The California style cheesesteak is the lettuce, tomato, raw onions, and mayo. And I like throwing mushrooms in there as well. So there's so many different ways. Like Southwestern would probably have some sort of hot sauce on it. I don't know. That's just what I assume. But you know what happens when you assume. It makes an ass out of you and me. My driver's ed teacher taught me that when I was in high school. I thought it was funny hearing a teacher curse. You'll be like, oh, the teacher cursed. But whatever. It was driver's ed. You're supposed to curse in driver's ed, I think. Jung Hoo Lee says, I went to Citi Field last night. The game was very good. The whole experience was awesome. I had the donut milkshake. God damn, the donut milkshake. I'll tell you what, man. I'm going to have to look that up on the old Google machine to see if I can get a picture of that. That sounds fantastic. I'm a huge donut guy, and I do enjoy a milkshake or two. Well, that sounds really, really cool. I was at Citi Field last. I don't get there often. Oh man, I don't know how many years ago it was. I don't think it was the first year it was open. It might have been the second year, but I seen the Mets and Braves up there, and but yeah, I don't even remember anything about it. It was so long ago. I definitely have next season. I'm definitely going to make a point to get up to Citi Field to see a Mets game, and hopefully a Mets win. I don't think I've ever seen them win. I think I've seen them play like 5 or 6 times, and I've never seen them win. So that's a bit of a bummer. But I did get to see some pretty neat things. Like I said, I got to see Jacob deGrom pitch, but that was down at Citizens Bank Ballpark. I've got to see Bobby Cox thrown out. That was up at Citi Field. I thought that was pretty cool. So a couple of things I take away. But yeah, last night's game, what was it, 2-1? I think a great pitcher's duel. Quintana was going for us last night, and the Rangers won up 2-0. I think it was in the 7th or 8th inning, or was it the 9th inning? I think it was 8th or 9th inning. I don't remember now. I was just looking at I was listening to it a little bit last night. I didn't get a chance to listen to the whole game. But I know Vientos had a home run in the 9th. So it's good to see him back. He's been back for a few games now. Coming back off of his injury. That's good, but yeah, that's great that you had a good time there. The whole donut milkshake thing sounds, fantastic. So yeah, so maybe for my birthday next year, I'll have to get to Citi Field to get me one of those fancy donut milkshakes. That'd be awesome. All right, so we're going to move on from the Pete Alonso trade talks. Like I said, I don't think they should trade him, but I understand if they were to trade him, or at least dangle him out there like a carrot. Another big name here, Shohei Ohtani tears his UCL, but he's continuing to hit. Continuing to play in DH, a la what the hell is this? I can't think of his name. Bryce Harper. Just like a poof, gone. Like it was right there. I knew what I wanted to say. As soon as I got to Bryce Harper's name, bam, gone. But a la Bryce Harper last season. I think it was last year where Bryce had the torn UCL. I don't know. Did he tear it in the beginning of the season or something like that, or somewhere around there? And took a little bit of time off, came back. I think after like maybe 2 months or so, came back. Played well at DH and stuff like that. Was still able to hit for the Phillies on their run to the World Series, and had the surgery in the offseason, and came back. I think it was late May, and he's been all right for the Phillies. He hasn't had the power numbers really that you'd expect out of Bryce Harper, but still, he's the heart and soul of that team. So, so for the Phillies to have him back in that lineup is huge. I assume I'm pretty sure he's playing first base and DH. So he's not even in the outfield. So not really thrown all that much or thrown far. And so the difference between the Ohtani thing and the Bryce Harper thing, obviously, is that Ohtani is also a pitcher. And this is something that I talked about so many times here on the show about whenever the question came up, should the Mets try to trade for Ohtani or sign him in the offseason? This is back before the trade deadline. I think it was last season. I talked about it a good bit and coming up to this season. And my thoughts were, obviously, you should. He was, if not the best player, one of the best players in the league. He's a very good pitcher, a terrific hitter, not a bad outfielder. So yeah, obviously that's something you would want to trade for, or at least try to sign when he becomes a free agent. But my thought was always, the only issue is the injury. So if you sign Ohtani and he gets injured, like tears his UCL, so now you lose a pitcher and you lose an outfielder. He can still DH, obviously, which I never really took into account, but that's only going to take you so far. Sooner or later, he's going to have to get surgery on that elbow, and you're going to lose him for a period of time. So now you lose that pitcher for a year and a half. You still have the hitter, but you're going to lose that hitter for a few months. It's that one player leaves two gaps, when he gets hurt. If something happens where he tears an ACL, you're not going to be able to play with a torn ACL. This isn't 1926 where you can play with a torn ACL. I think Mickey Mantle tore his ACL his rookie year and played his whole career like that. And imagine how good Mickey Mantle would have been if he had two good ACLs. It would have been insane. We would have been saying Babe Ruth who? It would have been Mickey Mantle. So I probably cut his career short. Depends on what you read or not. Saying that injury, could have potentially led to his alcoholism and stuff like that, and abuse of painkillers, and all that stuff. But so the whole Shohei Ohtani thing is really, really tough to gauge what he's going to do, what's going to happen, and it's like there's so many different avenues that he can go as a player as well. Joe Sullivan checking in. Joe from the Sully Squad on Mondays, talking Philadelphia sports, and then also on Tuesdays with extra innings, talking all Major League Baseball. I agree. I don't say they can't trade, but I don't think they should trade Alonso. He's just, for me, he's the face of the franchise. He's not their leader. I feel like Francisco Lindor has really stepped up this year as the leader of the Mets, but Pete is just one of those guys. He's just one of those guys where he's the Mets right now. Pete is the Mets, and to trade him, man, you better get one hell of a haul that produces right away, or it's just going to look really bad. They're going to kill you. For the most part, Pete is beloved in New York for the most part. Like I said before, there's a lot of there is some hate for Pete, kind of goofy or corny or douchey, for whatever reason. Some Mets fans are feel that way, or fans in general, baseball fans. I know a lot of other teams kind of make fun of him or rip him for some reason. I don't know. I don't see it. Zhang Huli says, Kenny, can I bring some to your attention? Did you notice the Mets changed all Saturday games from 1 p.m. start time to 4:10 or 7:10? Huh. No, I didn't notice that. I usually don't look too far ahead in the schedule, especially times anyway. I do look ahead in the schedule a little bit, but I hardly ever look at times. I wonder why they did that. I wonder if that's TV-wise. Maybe like if some of those 1:10 games were going to be televised like an ABC or NBC or Fox type of thing. But now since the Mets are but now the Mets are out of it, they're not going to be they're almost like on the NFL, you get flexed out. So maybe they got flexed out of that time slot so somebody else can jump into that time slot. But that wouldn't make sense. Why not just not air them on Fox and just air them on SNY or whatever? I don't know. I don't know why they would do that. That's something to go to the old Google machine and look that up as well. That doesn't make sense why they would do that unless they feel maybe they feel they'll get more fans that way. I don't know. Maybe they'll fill a stadium more, or they do that. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, cooler out maybe. I don't know. 110 it gets a little bit warm at 110 in the afternoon. It says 7 p.m. It's a little bit better. Huh. So Shohei Ohtani, back to him again. So there's a couple different avenues he can go. I know I was listening to I think it was the Mets roundtable with my boy Nelson, Amish Country Mets fan, and CPNY Sports Chris from CPNY Sports. I think it was the Mets roundtable, and I'm not sure who else is on with those guys, but those are the two guys that I know. I kind of have interactions with, and but anyway, they were talking about the different avenues that Shohei Ohtani can go, or what he can do and stuff like that, or what may he do, or potentials and what ifs type of stuff, and that's a hell of a rabbit hole to go down. So that's the rabbit hole I'm going to climb into. So they're talking about like, does he take the time off, get the surgery, now, so one of the things I did hear was that he's waiting to get the surgery because he's looking for a second opinion, which, you should always do when it comes down to something major, like, a torn ligament or anything, or an illness. You should always go for a second opinion just to make sure that is the issue. And so that's one of the rumors that I heard. I don't know if it was Angels radio, Mets radio, or if it's MLB radio. I don't know, but I did hear it. I think it was on the radio. And so, does that mean like in the next week or two, if he gets that second opinion, he's going to be done? He's going to be out? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But one of the avenues he could do is get the surgery right away and just sit out all next year and then come back 2025. And even then, who knows if you miss like the first month or two with that, because the UCL is just such a long recovery. Tommy John surgery, such a long recovery period. But then I'm sorry, it keeps going in and out on me here. I don't know. I don't know if it's going in and out on you guys or not, but let me know if I'm popping in and out. I don't know. I like every once in a while my screen goes blank and a little spinning circle of death there, and then I'm back. So I don't know. So or does he just continue hitting, a la Bryce Harper, get the surgery in the offseason, come back? Now, one of the things that I thought he could do that I'm not sure if Chris and Nelson mentioned was get the surgery, come back, like Harper did, May or June, and you'll be the DH. But while he's DHing, during practice or whatever, so I don't know how this works. Like how the inner workings of it, all of it is with practices and whatnot. But the pitching, pitching while you're not playing games. Play the games, do the DH part, and do the recovery pitching part on your days off or practices or whatever. But again, I'm not 100% sure how the rehab part of it is. The player's responsibility with practices, I have no idea. That's just me kind of like, well, maybe he can still hit and still recover at the same time, or still get stronger as a pitcher at the same time. So that's one thought that I had. Or just, just not pitch anymore. He is a good pitcher. He's not the best pitcher. He's not a great pitcher, but he's a very good pitcher. Almost any team would probably like to have him on their staff as just a pitcher. So that'd be hard for him to give up, but that's another avenue he can go down and say, you know what? All right, I'm done pitching. That's it for me. No more pitching. Get the surgery, still get it fixed, come back as a hitter, maybe still play a little bit of outfield and DH then, or even learn a new position, like a Bryce Harper that has, at first base, with the injury to Rhys Hoskins for the Phillies, and fill in that way. So there's a couple different avenues that I think that Shohei Ohtani could take, but we'll see what happens. Eileen says you would think he would get it done so he can come back faster. You would think so, especially with the Angels. I'm pretty sure the Angels are done. And it's not like it's going to hurt his trade value. I mean, it obviously the torn UCL is going to hurt his trade value, but I mean, everybody knows that he has a torn UCL. It's not like he's going to hide it. We're like, oh no, I'm cool, and they go to the physical. Oh, he has a torn UCL. No, Everybody knows he has a torn UCL. And so it's just like when it's one of the things. He's a competitor. He's competitive. So it's just one maybe just wants to finish his time out with the Angels. Like you said, Eileen, and then come back sooner. Does that mean come back as a hitter sooner, or take the whole time off and come back as a pitcher and a hitter? I don't know. Zhang Hu Li says sooner, we shall say. He also says, my opinion, Ohtani going to Mets in 2024 with huge resistance by the Yankees. Steinbrenner finally opening his wallet due to embarrassment in 2023. And that's what the whole Steinbrenner thing. I'm not huge into the Yankees, so I don't know the ins and the outs of it. But from what I understand, it seems like I don't know. I could be wrong. Eileen would know more about it than I would, but I think Cashman seems to be more the problem. I don't follow the Yankees all that much, so I don't know for sure. It's stuff that I've been hearing, but I feel like Steinbrenner's willing to spend and stuff like that, but Brian Cashman's not really spending it in the right areas. Maybe, I don't know. He's been around for a long, long time. Brian Cashman has for the Yankees, so I don't know if they have a Steinbrenner problem or if they have a Cashman problem. But Eileen would be able to say more to that. Buffer, yeah. I'm sorry. I don't know. Like I said, there were storms that rolled through here. It's bright and sunny out right now, but there's a lot of wind coming. And like I said, my TV was in and out for whatever reason. Usually that doesn't happen. So like my internet signal says a medium signal, so that's not great. I'm gonna move the so here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna move my podcasting area down to my den, which is right below the Wi-Fi. I'm gonna see if that changes it up. Or I'm just gonna have to start doing it in the kitchen again, which I don't like doing because then the damn bird's there chirping in my ear, and I don't like putting a blanket over the bird because then I feel bad for the bird because he's like, "What the hell's going on?" Eileen says, just for a few seconds, you go in and out. Yeah, I could. My screen will go blank. I'll have the spinning wheel of death. It's like I don't know if I just continue talking. Like maybe they can still see me, so I don't pick my nose. I just got to be poor quality but watchable. But I love your show. Thank you, Jung Hoo Lee. It is very frustrating. I don't know if you guys noticed. When I start the show, there's always that little bit of lag where the opening video will play, and then I'm sitting here like this. And then I start talking. It's like, there's that lag where I'm still seeing the video, but for you guys, it's already off, and I'm behind. I'm like 5, I think 3 to 5 seconds off, and I can't talk until that video is done playing on my screen because my mic is muted. So even if I did start talking, you wouldn't hear crap anyway. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys checking it out and sticking it out with me because it's frustrating. And I've had a fairly frustrating day yesterday, night, whatever you want to call it. And it was a rough night last night at work. I've been awfully miserable, and this makes me smile. And to have the internet going in and out is really pissing me off. All right, so we'll move on from Ohtani. Hopefully he does end up with the Mets. My thought is, I think if he ends up with the Mets, that means Pete's gone. I have a hard time seeing him affording Pete and Shohei Ohtani. And I think Shohei Ohtani is going to get less money now because of the torn UCL, because you don't know what you're going to get with him after coming off the torn UCL. Are you going to get the same pitching Ohtani if he does pitch again that you got before, or is he going to be a little bit less? I don't know. And I also think that the Angels didn't help him at all. I feel like the Angels kind of, said, you know what, he's leaving anyway. Let's see if we can ride this pony to the end here. And I read something. I think after he tore his UCL on, I think it was MLB.com, or no, was it MLB.com or I don't know where I saw it, but I was reading something where it said his last few starts, he was losing a little bit of velocity. And he just didn't pitch. He didn't have the quite the same zip as he had on his fastball as previous starts. So they're saying it could be fatigue or arm fatigue or whatever. It's, I think they cut a couple of his starts short, maybe, or they even gave him a break in between the one start. Like, they're saying that he's fatigued and stuff. So, but it ends up that he ends up tearing his UCL. And even he said that he didn't feel any pain. It just felt weird. It felt different, and which is kind of cause for him to. Oh yeah, yeah, frustrating. Very, very frustrating. All right. So we move on to the Mets losing 2 out of 3 to the Angels. Speaking of Shohei Ohtani, the Mets played the Angels for a 3-game set there in Citi Field. Lost 2 out of 3. Bats weren't all that great. That series, just like they haven't been all that great the series so far with Texas, just like they were, not all that great against the Braves either. So it's been a little bit of a stretch for us. But anyway, we lost the first game 3-1. Only were able to muster up 3 hits. Francisco Lindor did have a home run. Kodai Senga pitched a pretty decent game. He kind of struggled in the beginning a little bit, but really settled down nicely. 6 2/3, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 10 Ks. You had the whole Senga versus Ohtani thing, which was kind of cool to see. They faced each other before in Japan and stuff like that. But the first time in the States for them to face each other. I know Kodai Senga has been kind of recruiting Shohei Ohtani a little bit, which is great. As well as the Yoshinobu Yamamoto. He's been recruiting him a little bit as well, and which is great. That's fantastic. There's also another Japanese player, but for some reason his name's escaping me right now. I believe he's a position player, not a pitcher, though. So now Kodai Senga's ERA down to 3.17. He's been, absolutely fantastic. Better than I thought he would. He pitched this year. If I would have had a guess, him coming to the major leagues from the Nippon League in Japan, I wasn't thinking, a low 3 ERA. My thought was, I'd be happy if he goes 3.5 to 4 ERA. For the first season, kind of some growing pains and, the subtle differences, which he struggled with early in the season, but he settled in really, really nicely to have a really good season so far. Get a couple more starts, maybe he can lower that ERA to maybe sub 3. It'd be really, that'd be cool to see, to have him, that one of the lone bright spots of the season. Kodai Senga, Francisco Lindor, I think has, besides his average, has had a terrific season. And Pete Alonso, again, besides his average, has had a pretty good season up and down. And the Francisco Alvarez, shooting off like a rocket, kind of go cold, then shoot off like a rocket again and kind of go cold. He's in a little bit of a cold spell again right now. But, he's played a long season so far, Alvarez. So kind of give him a break with that a little bit. I think he's had a really successful rookie campaign. Like to see that average a little bit higher. It's like in the 212, 211 or something like that, I think now for Alvarez, but defense hasn't been all that bad. Hey, Chris from CPNY Sports. What's up, buddy? Just talking about you actually a few minutes ago when we were talking about Shohei Ohtani. I was talking about how I was watching I think it was the Mets roundtable when you guys were talking about Shohei Ohtani's UCL tear and what that could mean for Shohei Ohtani, position wise, or does he pitch ever again? Does he get the surgery and not play next year and come back as the pitcher and and the hitter again? The whole thing. We were talking about that for a little bit. You can check Chris out on a whole lot of stuff. Like I said, the Mets roundtable, the Mets Interstate Report. He also does some New York Giants stuff, just like we do here on Out of the Box Sports. We have the Big Blue Power Hour Mondays. On the Giants show there, maybe someday a collaboration with the Giants shows. That'd be pretty cool. Lots of different places. You can check Chris out. All of his social media handles are CPNY Sports. So, plug that in there on one of those social media gimmicks and, check Chris out. A lot of good stuff. He and my boy Nelson from Amish Country Mets fan. Speak of the Devils, and there they are. The Big Blue Power Hour. What's up, Stacy? How you doing? Good morning. Hope everything's going well for you, Stacy, in this fine, annoying Wednesday morning. I'm having a rough go at it. I tell you, I was all pissy last night at work and grumpy, and I come home grumpy, and now my internet's kind of flickering in and out. And it's really making me angry. So if my face pops off, and you have a little, spinning wheel of death. Don't be surprised if when I pop back on, my face is blowing up and I'm yelling, and because I'm ready to fly off the handle here. So getting under my skin. So yeah, the Mets dropped game one. They dropped game two, 5-3. Cookie Carrasco comes out, pitches an inning and 2/3, gives up 5 earned runs. His last start with the Mets, as the Mets have DFA'd Cookie Carrasco. There's still a chance that he could wind up with the Mets if nobody claims him, but hopefully that's it for him on the main roster with the Mets, and we don't have to see him take the mound anymore, which is such a bummer because last season he had a lot of bright spots, but he also had a couple downers. But you kind of expect, all right, if we can get the same Cookie Carrasco, he doesn't have to be a dominant pitcher; just has to be an okay pitcher. He has not been an okay pitcher this year. Looking at his August, all of his numbers through all the months of the season. April, 13 2/3, 13 earned runs, an 8.56 ERA. In May, 17 2/3 innings pitched, 7 earned runs, a 3.57 ERA, which is his best month of the season. He only pitched 3 games in May. June, 21 2/3 innings, 15 earned runs, a 6.23 ERA. And July, 7 1/3 innings, 15 earned runs, 7.79 ERA. And August has been just atrocious. 19 2/3, 18 earned runs, and 8.24 ERA. It's, see you later, Cookie. Don't let the door hit you on Patoot on the way out. So it's been a rough one. And it's a bummer, because it's one of those things like it kind of, for me on the show, I talked about, do we keep Taijuan Walker, Chris Bassett, or Cookie Carrasco? And I was pushing for Chris Bassett. I really wanted Chris Bassett because I thought wasn't a dominant pitcher, but he was an okay pitcher, very serviceable, could get the job done. And occasionally have that start, where you need somebody to stop like a losing streak, or, you need somebody to go a little bit deeper. It seemed like Chris Bassett could do that for you, but we ended up going with Cookie Carrasco, and man, what a bite in the ass that was. Holy crap. Taijuan Walker's pitched, pretty well for the Phillies. And I think recently he's been kind of struggling a little bit, but for the most part, the whole season and as a whole has pitched all right for the Phillies. And the same as for Chris Bassett, I believe up there in Toronto, has pitched well this season, or at least okay anyway. better than Cookie Carrasco. So yeah. So see you later, Cookie. He has a 3-8 record this year with a 6.80 ERA, and that's not going to get it done. I'd rather see Jose Butto or Joey Lucchesi. Especially Joey Lucchesi. I'm always pushing for more Joey Lucchesi because I just want to see him get it done, and and get a real shot. He pitched a couple of weeks ago. Pitched a decent game. I don't remember his exact stats, but anyway, they sent him back down right away. So that's a bit of a bummer. All right, and Eileen says you are secretly hoping Cookie doesn't get claimed, aren't you? I hope some moron claims him. Yeah, Atlanta's going to claim him. He's going to go and he's going to have 3 or 4 shutouts the rest of the season. You watch. Eileen says you just want him back on the Mets. Oh, he's been so fresh. He's been like the Daniel Vogelback of pitching. If he doesn't get claimed, I'd be surprised if someone claimed him. He stays with the Mets. Yeah. He goes. He gets optioned to AAA, I believe. And then I think I could be wrong, but I think it's up to him if he wants to take that assignment. Then he could say, you know what? No, I'm not going to the minor leagues, and then become a free agent. I believe that. I think that's how that works. I could be wrong though. So the final game of the series, the second game of the series, like I said, Cookie Carrasco. Vogelback had a home run. DJ Stewart 2 for 3, who's been a nice little bright spot for the Mets. And the final game of the set there, the Mets were able to win 3-2. David Peterson, who knew, 7 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 8 Ks. Pitched very well. Alonso RBI, Alvarez RBI, and Ortega. So a nice win there to finish it off. But again, it's Mets offense looking like garbage. So the one nice thing was Eduardo Escobar, who the Mets traded to the Angels earlier in the season. I think it was back in, I don't know if it was May or June, but it was well before the trade deadline. It wasn't May. Maybe it was like late June, I think. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when it was, really. But he made his return to Citi Field with the Angels, and they had a nice little video tribute for him. And he got a decent ovation. I didn't hear any boos. For the most part, you hear clapping. And the one thing about Eduardo Escobar, he did get crapped on a little bit this year, as most of the Mets have. But he always seemed like a fun dude, easygoing, outgoing. And he tried his hardest. He was always, you could tell he was trying. He was putting forth the effort. A bit of a fireball, so a spark plug, or maybe that's what I'm trying to say, not a fireball, but like a spark plug. So it was nice to see that he got a nice little ovation. So, and yeah, no Shohei Ohtani home runs, but he did have a couple of hits that were just like wow. Yeah, he had that hit against Senga. I think it was 115 mile an hour off the bat, and that sucker was smoked. So holy crap. So that's what I have on the Angels and the Mets. Before I move on, I'm going to go ahead and do a sponsor read here before I lose internet again and I get really angry. Monkey Colt Coffee. Go to monkeycoltcoffee.com. and get your coffee there. You have the bourbon chocolate chip infused. That's the OG coffee there at Monkey Colt Coffee. My personal favorite, the toasted coconut rum. And now, brand new flavor, the Sumatran blend. I do believe they're selling that in whole bean and also ground coffee. So, check that out. If you're a whole beaner, which I don't have a grinder or anything like that, so I'm not a beaner. But if you are a beaner, I love the smell of the beans. I'll tell you what, I huff that crap all day. But if you are a beaner, you like your coffee beans freshly ground, then the Sumatran blend is right up your alley. So make sure you check it out. And like I said, the toasted coconut rum is my favorite. I absolutely love it. But also at monkeycoltcoffee.com, they have a bunch of swag there. They have T-shirts, coffee mugs, tumblers. They have the cold brew pitcher, which I absolutely love. The K-cup adapter, also some rum cake. Lots of stuff there on monkeycoltcoffee.com. And when you're buying all your stuff, buying all your swag and your coffee, be sure at checkout to use the promo code OOTB Sports for 10% off. That promo code, once again, is OOTB Sports for 10% off. And tell them the Bat Fry sent you. And remember, every bag of coffee sold, Matt, the owner of Monkey Colt Coffee, donates a portion of the proceeds to the National Pediatric Cancer Organization. So, a good cause there. And great coffee. Matt's a great dude. I talked to Matt a couple of times, trying to help me out, try to get more viewers and get out there a little bit more. And I'm still trying to figure it out because I am like technology has escaped my my knowledge. I don't know what I'm trying to say right now. I'm tired. Jay Fine Law, attorney Big Al. You can reach Jason Fine at 1-800-HURT-123. That's 1-800-HURT-123, attorney Big Al. They specialize in motor vehicle accidents, slip and falls, workman's comp, personal injury claims. I wonder if Ronald Acuna from the Braves can use the slip and fall part, or maybe like the workman's comp. I don't know if anybody's seen that with the Acuna, he was out there in the outfield. Where the hell was it? I think in Colorado. One fan comes out and is giving him a hug. Well, then the security guards are trying to get the fan off of him. So one security guard has him by the legs. The other one has him by the waist. Well, then another fan comes running out. Acuna gives him a stiff arm. And, he's trying to back up and get out of the way. Well, then the one security guard that's trying to get the other guy by the legs trips him. So he falls. He's on his back. It's absolutely insanity. But if he's going to use Jason Fine and Jay Fine Law, there's 3 office locations throughout Pennsylvania and New Jersey. In Cherry Hill, New Jersey, the office is located at 3 Greensward Lane, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. The phone number there is 856-209-5258. And in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the Steel City, the office is located at 500 Grant Street, Suite 2900. And the phone number there is 412-365-8151. And in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the city of brotherly love and cheesesteaks. The office is located at 1628 JFK Boulevard, Suite 2120, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The phone number there is 267-888-2980. Tell them the Bat Fry sent you. Got a couple comments here before I move on to our next topic here. Jung-Hoo Lee. Did you see Chase Silseth hit in the head during the Mets game in a scary scene? No, I didn't see that. No. When was that? Was that last night, or was that against the Angels? Or no, I missed that. I was going to talk actually about Pete Alonso getting hit in the head by a curveball from by the Angels, Jose Soriano in the 8th inning the other night, and Pete had some words with the catcher, and then again that brings me up another topic that the guys at the Mets Roundtable were talking about. Chris from CPNY Sports and Nelson from Amish Mets Amish Country Mets fan. And about Pete getting hit and, the retaliation parts and, stuff like that. So I didn't see Chase Silseth get hit in the head. I'm going to have to look it up, though. Write it down for another Google box there. So the whole Pete Alonso thing, that's the next topic. I want to go ahead and put the old banner up there. Pete has gotten hit the most in the major leagues. The Mets have been hit the most in the major leagues. Same as last year. We talked about this last week. I blame Buck for not retaliating. It's not in his MO as the game passed Buck by. But I know Nelson brought up a good point on the Mets Roundtable, saying that, Pete's a man. Why doesn't Pete do something about it? He's a big dude. Why doesn't he charge the mound? It's something you don't see a whole lot of anymore. You don't see a whole lot of, guys charging the mound or anything like that. And, nobody's going to stop Pete. Pete's a big dude. If he's going to go, he's going to go. If the catcher's going to try to stop him, the catcher's either going to get run over, he's going to get drugged with. So my thing is with Pete, he's in a tough position. My thought is, so I feel like earlier in the season when Pete was more outgoing, more expressive with his celebrations, humping the rail as he was in May when the Mets were doing well. Buck kind of called him out on it. When Pete said, let's fucking go Mets, Buck yelled at him for it. Buck gave him shit, through the media about it, which is a bummer. It takes the steam out of it. So now is Pete like kind of walking on eggshells with Buck? Is he afraid that, if I charge the mound, Buck's gonna, give me a tongue lashing through the media, or Buck's gonna sit me or something? I don't know. It's just, I know Pete wants to be in the lineup every day. Is he worried about a suspension? Because if he does charge around, there will be a suspension, like 1 or 2 games, 3 games, I think probably at the most, depending on actually what happens. If he, connects with a punch or whatever, that probably could up it a little bit. But it is interesting, why Pete hasn't really charged him out. Is it just not who Pete is? He was, pretty angry, and it didn't seem like it was intentional. It was a curveball. Usually if you get hit intentionally, it's with a fastball in the back or the butt or whatever. You hope it's not high. But the curveball up by the head, it's still kind of scary. It was an 80+ mile an hour curveball. That's enough to, rattle you. He ended up leaving the game. But why does Pete not take that into his hands and, push forward and say, you know what, I've had enough. I'm not going to rely on Buck or our pitchers to retaliate or to stand up for us hitters. I'm going to take this into my own hand and go out there and whoop some pitching ass. But yeah, me personally, I think it's not who Pete is, which, that is what it is. I don't think Pete's Florida guy. So, maybe he's like kind of laid back a little bit chill, so maybe, is that it? I don't know. But that's my thought on it. I think Pete's just, it's not in him to charge the mound. I don't think it's the type of player he is. I don't think that's who he is. But I would have liked to seen him charge him out against the Braves with Elder hitting him again. It's so overplayed. Pete said what he said back in, I think it was May. Throw that again or whatever it was, and it was said by so many different players, new and old, that stuff is said all the time in the dugouts, and the other team always hears it. The opposing pitcher always hears it, and for some reason, because it's caught with a hot mic, it's even worse. So whatever. That would have been the time to charge the mound when Elder hit him. So, and he should have, because it's the Braves, and two, it's because it's the Braves. Screw the Braves. Yeah, that's my thought on it. Right or wrong, it is what it is. Eileen says she could use some coffee right now. I should pour some pure tea. I'm not awake yet. Hey, Eileen, if you're a coffee drinker, hit that monkeycoltcoffee.com and use that promo code OOTB Sports to get your 10% off. They have really good coffee. I'm not even blowing smoke either. I really like their coffee. Got the little mug right here. Join the, that word there. I'm not going to say because I don't want to get in trouble. There's Monkey Colt. There's the little mascot. I can't think of his name right now. We got Paul Spencer. He's not Maiko anymore. He's back to being Paul. What's up, Paul? He says, what's up, buddy? Great show as always. Just had my Monkey Colt coffee. Third cup cold brew. I really like the cold brew. It's been a little while since I actually made cold brew, but I really the first time I tried Monkey Colt coffees with the cold brew. It was really, really good. The bourbon chocolate chip. Jung Hoo Lee says, I love Pete, but the only reason Vogelback is on a team because Vogie and Pete are chummy. The clubhouse is too tribal. I don't know. If that's why Vogelback is still on the roster, that's insane. That's absolutely insane. That would drive me nuts. Yeah, I don't know about that. They do seem kind of chummy, but Vogelback seems like that kind of guy where, you're in the room with him, everybody's kind of chummy with him, but I don't know. I don't know their relationship. They, if they're boys or not or whatever. I don't know. I do think the clubhouse needs a bit of an overhaul. I do think that starts with the manager. But like we talked about last week, should Buck stay? Should Buck go? Should Buck get fired? Whatever, retire, transition Buck into the front office or something. I don't know. That'll be a remain to be seen. So, Eileen says him charging the mound would have been fun. It would have been. It would have been neat to see the polar bear charging the mound. It would have been neat to see what the pitcher would have done. It's not Nolan Ryan out there. Nolan Ryan, like he did Robin Ventura, like, all right, bring it on, and proceeded to knock the crap out of Robin Ventura. But I don't know if Jose Soriano would have waited there for Pete, or if he would have threw his glove and then hit the road, or what. I don't know. Or hope his catcher would have been able to take him down. That's the one thing I hate baseball dust ups. As they were. You have the player chirping with the catcher, yelling at the pitcher. Well, all of a sudden the bench has got to clear. Why? Why did the benches got to clear for that? Now, if he's charging the mound, I get that. Then benches are clear. But he's just chirping. There's just chirping. There's no reason for the benches to clear. There's no reason for those idiots out there in the bullpen to walk a half mile from the bullpen to the mound and then walk all the way back. There's no reason for it. Zero reason. Unless there's a charge or something like that. But besides that, there's zero reason for it. I just say that it boggles my mind, why it gets to that point every single time there's a little bit of a talk. Paul Spencer said, Roderick. Yeah, it's the mascot for Monkey Cold Coffee is Roderick. I for some reason I can't remember. I never remember that. I don't know. I think he's a cool mascot. It's a kick-ass monkey drinking a cup of coffee and a robe, like a robe that you would wear, while in one of those. I'm not going to say it. Yep, Roderick. You better not be texting and driving 200 mile an hour. Dear Lord. It's the only man I know that can make it from Pittsburgh to Philadelphia in 35 minutes. And he's not flying in an airplane or helicopter. He is flying, but. All right, so we'll move on from Pete to our next topic here. Mets start 0-2 versus the Rangers. I'm like a broken record here with this nonsense. Lose the first game 4-3. Tyler McGill pitched well. That's what it seems like this whole season, where the pitching pitches well, the hitting doesn't show up. The hitting shows up, the pitchers don't show up. So that's the season in a nutshell right there. But Tyler McGill goes 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 8 Ks. Good for him. The Mets were up in this game and got ended up blowing it, I guess how you want to look at it, in the 9th inning. Nimmo had a homer. DJ Stewart, like I said, a nice little bright spot we've had. He had a home run as well. I listened to the end of this game on the way to work, and it's the whole time just shaking my head. And then last night's game, Mets lose 2-1. Great pitching matchup. Jose Quintana, again, every start except for one has been a quality start for him. His outing against the Braves, I think he gave up 5 earned runs, 5 or 6. But all the other ones besides that, 3 earned runs or less, 6 innings pitched. He's been fantastic since coming back. But 6 innings pitched against the Rangers, no earned runs, 5 Ks. Awesome, great job. The Mets were down 2-0. I think in the 9th inning, Vientos hit a home run, but the Mets just couldn't mount that comeback. Just couldn't muster anything up, and get that other run. It's offense is nowhere to be found right now. Especially it seems like the top of our lineup between Nimmo, like I said, Nimmo, Lindor, McNeil, and Alonso. Seen a lot of offers recently. They'll work through it. There are a lot of good professional hitters there. They'll figure it out, I think, I hope, sooner or later. So the interesting thing about the whole Texas series is, it's not whether we win or lose. The Mets are in last place, which is good and bad. It's bad. It sucks ass that, we're in last place, but it's also good. The further down the Mets finish, the better chance they have of keeping their top 5 pick in the first round. And if they finish above bottom 5, that pick becomes the end of the first round. So I think the bottom 5, if they finish the bottom, I could be wrong. If they finish the bottom 5, they get to pick 1 through 5 in the first round. But if they finish 6 and above, then that pick becomes at the end of the first round due to the salary cap tax or whatever the hell it is, luxury tax, threshold stuff or whatever. Some weird ass rules in baseball. But anyway, Max Scherzer, who was traded to the Texas Rangers, dickhead Max, I call him, because I do think Max is a dickhead. I think he's always been a dickhead. I think even probably since he was a little kid, he was a dickhead. That's who Max Scherzer is. But when he's traded away, running his mouth and all that stuff. And but anyway, they do a video tribute for Max. and that was one of the things that was brought up a couple of weeks ago. I think actually Nelson might have brought it up on this show on the Batcave. He said, "Do I think that Scherzer will get a tribute video when Texas comes to town?" And I said, "I don't think so. I don't know. Especially after all the yapping or him talking about how the Mets are going to sell, and looking to build for 25, 26. So they're only going to field a team next year to be competitive." So it was a lot of chirping by Max, a lot of talking, stuff that should be kept internally. And but anyway, they do the video tribute for Max, which was actually, I watched the video tribute online, and it was actually a pretty cool tribute. And when he went up to the little steps to wave and do his little wave and smile, he got booed. So I say good for Max. I think he's a dickhead, and dickheads deserve to get booed. So good. Move on from that. We got a comment here. Eileen says, "Paul, put the phone down. Don't make me come smack." You'll never catch him, Eileen. You'll never catch the man. He's driving 500 mile an hour in a Mitsubishi or something like that. Zhang Hu Li said, "Tribute videos is the baseball's version of the participation trophy. Makes me sick." No mercy. Mercenaries get tribute videos. I'm all right with the tribute. So here's my thought on it. Like, I think it's nice. Not necessarily, I don't think they need it, but for guys like Escobar and Scherzer, they weren't really with the Mets all that long. So David Wright, or let's just for an instance type of thing. David Wright played his whole career at the Mets. So let's say David Wright, plays his whole career there. Very last season, the Mets saying, "Hey, listen, if you're not going to retire, we're going to release you." So David Wright's like, "I want one more season to try to win that ring," and he goes to, let's say, San Francisco. And San Francisco comes into town, and they play a tribute video for David Wright. I'm cool with that. I think that's great because he is, it's, I don't know how many years he actually played for the Mets. Let's say he played 13 years with the Mets. Terrific years, great years. Eventually going to get his number retired by the Mets or something, or whatever. You know what I mean? Then I think that the tribute video is more appropriate. But if you're there for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, I'm not really sure why you're getting a tribute video, because it doesn't seem like it's really necessary, because you're not really like one of those players that are generational, or does it make sense what I'm trying to say? I don't know. I agree with you to a point. But I don't know if the way I'm trying to explain it makes any sense. I just don't think for a short-term player that they should get a tribute video. But I do believe for if it was Jacob deGrom, I believe he should get a tribute video. A lot of great seasons with the Mets, Cy Youngs and stuff like that. World Series was pitching the World Series against the Royals. Him, yes. Scherzer, no. Escobar, probably not. So I'm with you. Yes and no, Zhang Hu Li. Eileen says David Wright, fine. Max, no. And, not even like David. I was just using it like David Wright as an example. I'm just trying to think, because David Wright played his whole career with the Mets. He didn't leave to go anywhere. So like a tribute video would kind of be like, a retirement video, or like if he came back after retirement for like some sort of ceremony, it'd be like a ceremonial video. It wouldn't really be a tribute video kind of for a current player that used to play for your team. I'm just trying to think of somebody. I can't think of anybody that comes to mind right away that would get a tribute video that was a long-term Met. Like I said, maybe DeGrom. Like if Noah Syndergaard, I don't know if I believe he got a tribute video. I think when he pitched against no, he didn't pitch against the Mets with the Phillies. I don't know. I don't know now. I don't know if Noah Syndergaard did or didn't. But anyway, that's my thought on it. Somebody like a legacy type player or a player that's put in a decent amount of time or had some really big years, I'm cool with the tribute video. But 2 years, probably not. Escobar, a few years. I think I'm not sure where we got Escobar from, where he was traded to us, or we signed him as a free agent. I don't remember. But he was only a Met for a couple of years as well, so probably not. But he wasn't a dickhead. Max is a dickhead, so dickheads shouldn't get tribute videos. All right, so before I move on, we'll do our last show read here, our last sponsor read before I get to my power rankings. Dugout Mugs. Go to dugoutmugs.com. Get your dugout mug there. They have all the teams. Plus, you can also do personalized mugs. They have Skyline mugs. They have Hall of Fame mugs where they have the signatures of the Hall of Famer. They don't have everybody. There's a certain few that they do have, but they have the signature from that Hall of Famer engraved into the mug. I have a Mike Piazza one behind me. I'll show you in a second. But they have the regular size mug, which I'll show you. They have shortstops mugs, which is about half the size of a regular dugout mug. They have the knob shots, which I wanted to show you, but I forgot to bring it with me. They also have wine glass, not really glass, a wine glass type looking mug, or maybe it's like a goblet. I don't know if that's what it actually is or not. Mug, which is pretty cool. Coasters with your teams on it. They have baseballs that are cut in half as bottle openers. A whole bunch of stuff on their website there at dugoutmugs.com. And when you buy something at dugoutmugs.com, use the promo code OOTBSports20. That's OOTBSports20 at checkout for 20% off of your dugout mug. Great presents for birthdays, Christmas, Easter, a bridal shower, groomsmen type stuff, for anything. Your nephew's going away to college. Get him a dugout mug to support the team. Why not, right? So we got I show this one quite often. The Mets dugout mug. A little bit of a sunlight there's kind of. You got let's see, it's hollowed out, decent size. Then we got the one I've been drinking out today is the aluminum one. They have the aluminum mugs. It keeps your drinks cold, for a decent amount of time. Good stuff. And like I said, I got the ones back here. And here's the Hall of Fame one is Mike Piazza. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, see Mike Piazza. His name is actually etched in there. So his signature. So that's pretty cool. They do have some minor league teams as well. They don't have a whole lot. They do have some. I think they're going to start getting into college as well. So that's pretty cool. And a lot of great stuff there at dugoutmugs.com. And like I said, remember, use the promo code OOTBSports20 for 20% off. Tell them the Bat Fry sent you. All right. Finally, let's get to the power rankings. And while the internet's still cooperating with me right now, let me pull up the old power rankings backdrop my boy Maiko set up for me. Man, that Paul Spencer is top notch. I'll tell you what. Let's see, pull it up here. There it is. All right. That Paul Spencer's top notch, except for all the way there on the side of my Batman suit where it says Senga. As we suck, 60-73, last place. We know. We know, Paul. We know. Trust me, we know. So I did these power rankings. I think it was Sunday night. Would they be a little bit different right now if I did them last night? Maybe. Real quick before I move on, Paul says also custom mugs, ordered my out-of-the-box sports mug. I can't wait to see that. but yeah, they like I said, they do custom mugs. You send them the picture or whatever of what you want done, and they do it up for you. Paul says must be a Braves fan. The power of the keyboard. Yeah. That's what happens when you have a Braves fan doing your layouts for you and doing all the technological stuff here. All right, so starting with I'll work my way from 10 up. Like I said, if I was doing these last night, they might be a little bit different. But for the most part, I'm pretty happy with what I got when I did these Sunday night. It'd be pretty close to the same. Number 10, I have the Twins and D-backs. It was a tie. This is the one where I probably might have switched. I might have dropped the Twins out and raised the Chicago Cubs up, but the Twins have been playing much better ball lately, and they're the lead in the Central, in the AL Central, which is an absolute shit show right now anyway. So, but the Twins are 69-64, 5-5 in their last 10. The D-backs are also 69-64, 7-3 in their last 10. Starting to play a little bit better baseball, the D-backs. It's one of the teams that I said are going to fall off. I said that months ago. Right, I think it was right after the All-Star break. I was talking about some teams that I think are going to drop off, and the D-backs were one of them. I said D-backs were going to drop off. The Marlins were going to drop off, and was it the Reds? There was somebody else too, and for the most part, they have dropped off. Number 9, I have the Blue Jays, 72-61, 5-5 in their last 10. I picked Blue Jays the last 2 years to go to the World Series. I picked them again this year to go to the World Series for the AL. So we'll see what happens. They got a hill to climb. The Rangers at number 8. They were falling fast until they got to play the Mets. So they're happy to be playing the Mets. 75-57, 3-7 in their last 10. Like I said, struggling a little bit. The Phillies at number 7. They've been playing decent. Really, I think they won 5 in a row now. If I had to redo it, I might have them a spot or two higher. But they're 74-58, 8-2 in their last 10. Number 6, the Brewers. The Brewers have been playing really, really good. 74-58, 9-1 in their last 10. All these teams at the top here have been playing really well, pretty good baseball. So, it's tough to really. It's starting to get harder and harder to kind of rank them where I think that they should be ranked. Number 5, the Mariners. I didn't expect to see the Mariners here because they seem to be down and out. A really slow start this year. Even halfway through, they're just not looking good, and they've caught fire throughout August. They've made up a lot of ground, and I'm not sure, but I think they still might be in first place. I know they were a game up on Texas and the Astros, but I'm not sure if they still hold that lead or not. But anyway, Mariners 75-57, 8-2 in their last 10. The Rays, number 4, they're starting to heat back up a little bit. 81-52, 8-2 in their last 10. Number 3, the Dodgers, 82-49, 8-2 in their last 10, playing really good baseball. Number 2, the Orioles, staying hot, unbelievable. I said that's who the other team. I said the Orioles were going to drop off, but they haven't done that. They've just continued to steamroll people. They're 83-49, 8-2 in their last 10, and of course, number 1, barf bags. The Braves, 86-45, 7-3 in their last 10, and they're just continuing to kill people. And like I said, a scary scene that happened in Colorado with those fans coming out there and hugging up on Ronald Acuna. I don't know what their thoughts were, what they were thinking, but you had the one fan hugging him. Security tried taking him down. Another fan comes running in. He stiff arms him, kind of knocks him back. Well, as the one security guard's trying to take the other guy down, Acuna goes over. Imagine if he blows his ACL out. He was hurt. Was it last season or 2 seasons? No, it was the season. I think they won the World Series. He missed the season because he had a torn ACL or something. Something was up with him. And imagine if that happened again, just because a couple of idiots ran out in the field and then security wasn't there to get them. It's unbelievable. Absolutely amazing that happened. Two of them, and from what I understand, there was a third one that tried getting out there as well. So that's some scary stuff, man. I mean, if I don't know how old a lot of you guys are, guys and gals are that are watching the show. If anybody is still watching the show, I don't know. But you remember Monica Seles, the famous tennis player, being stabbed while playing tennis. So, that's scary stuff. I liked me some Monica Seles when I was a kid, when I was a teenager. That yelling, never forget it. Anyway, if you don't know, if you don't understand the reference and you're a guy, go ahead and just Google Monica Seles. I don't know if you call it tennis yell or volley yell or whatever, but whatever time she'd hit the ball, she lets out a yell, and it's a good one. Anyway, so those are my power rankings, and I think they're pretty good. I think it's a good power rankings. Like I said, I probably have the Phillies maybe above the Brewers. I don't know, because the Brewers are playing really good. Seattle's playing really good. It's hard to move them up anywhere. I feel like the top I feel like the top 7 are right where they should be. Underneath that, 8, 9, 10, you kind of move them around a little bit if you wanted to. But, that's a pretty good power ranking. Thank you, Paul, for setting it up for me. I appreciate it. What? What, Eileen? I didn't do nothing. All right, so before I head out, I'm going to do a show read here. Give you a read of all of our shows and talk about what I got going on in the burner here real quick. Let me clear my throat. You know that song, right? I can't do the thing that who sings. I don't know who does that song, but anyway, I can't do the clear my throat thing like he does it. But anyway, Mondays. Joystick Junkies at 4:30 p.m. for all you gamers out there. And like I said earlier, when Joe Sullivan checked in, you had the Sully Squad talking Philadelphia sports at 6 p.m. 8:30 p.m., the Big Blue Power Hour talking New York Giants football. Tuesdays with Steve, the new Commanders Gridiron Show, talking Washington Commanders. I like saying Washington like with the R, Washington. I think it's funny. That's at 6:30 p.m. on Tuesdays, 8:30 p.m. on Tuesdays, extra innings, talking all Major League Baseball. Wednesdays, of course, 10 a.m. You have me, your favorite host, the host with the most, the Bat Fry with the Bat Cave. 7 p.m., Fuji's Philly Flair. 8 p.m., College Football Frenzy. 9:30 p.m., Dem 215 Boys talking Dallas Cowboy football. Thursdays at 7 p.m., the NFC East War Room. You have an Eagles fan, Cowboys, Giants, and Commanders, and they just yell at each other about their teams. They talk about their teams and the rivalries, and how they're going to kick each other's asses and stuff like that. So it's a good time. It's a good time. Fridays at 10:30 p.m., of course, I'm on with Cowboy Dave Yarnell on the Atomic Drop podcast, talking WWE wrestling. So wrestling. Saturdays, 11 a.m., the Golden Dome. Notre Dame Irish pregame, and you'll have the postgame occasionally with our boy Paul Spencer. Sundays, 11:30 a.m., Dallas Cowboys pregame. Coming soon, and that's what I'm going to talk about here in a second. You have the Raiders and Kings show. You can check Out of the Box Sports out at Facebook, YouTube. It's Twitter on there, but now I guess it's X. I don't know, why Mr. Musk did that, but whatever. It'll always be Twitter to me, but now it's X. So yeah, Facebook, YouTube, X. You can check us out on the Instagram and TikTok. We post some videos on there, some promos and stuff like that. So some good stuff there. Hashtag OOT Box Sports. And so the Raiders and Kings show. So I'm not going to be doing the Las Vegas sports scene anymore. I talked to Paul about it, and it just doesn't make sense for me to do the Las Vegas sports scene. That was something that Rob and I did. It was actually Rob's show. Rob started the Vegas sports scene, brought me in as the Raider guy, and we would talk Raiders football, but he would mostly talk about the Vegas Golden Knights, and he would talk, about the WNBA Las Vegas Aces. And I'm not a Golden Knights fan. I'm an LA Kings fan. They're rivals. They're in the same division, same conference. So it's kind of weird for me to talk about both teams, and it's just weird for me. And then of course I'm not a basketball fan. I don't watch basketball. I don't follow it. I might follow like the NBA playoffs a little bit, especially the championship. Same thing with NCAA. I'll follow the bracket stuff once the tournament begins. But besides that, I'm not a basketball guy. So, to me, talk about WNBA, I'm just faking it. I'm just, muddling my way through, just kind of spitting stuff out and, whatever. So I don't want to be faking it. I want to be real with you guys. And so that's why I'm not going to do the Vegas sports scene anymore. And now it's going to be the Silver and Black Lair. So it's going to be LA Kings and Raiders talk. And two teams I love. Been a Raiders fan since the early 90s. I've talked about this before, but I'll say it here again. I had when I started playing football, one of my Pee Wee coaches, his name was Howie. And, I didn't really watch football then. But then I heard the name Howie Long. I watched Howie Long play on TV, of course, with the Raiders. And I fell in love with the Raiders. And, Howie Long's easily my favorite player out of any sport. It's Howie Long, far and above. And the LA Kings, I was a hockey fan as a teenager. Used to play street hockey all the time. Became an LA Kings fan pretty much because of Wayne Gretzky. But, after I started watching hockey and playing it, I became a big Kelly Rudy fan, which was the goalie for the LA Kings back in the early mid-'90s. And so that was my favorite player then. Rob Lake and Yari Curry and stuff. And so I was a big LA Kings fan. I kind of stopped watching hockey for a bit after the strike and after stuff like that. And so 2 seasons ago, I started getting back into watching hockey, and I just fell in love with it again. So I'm still learning hockey, but that's gonna be the new show, the Silver and Black Lair. Very excited. It will be starting up pretty soon because football season starts soon. The hockey season is right around the corner as well. So not this weekend, but I'm thinking next weekend. So the first month of it throughout September, it's not going to have a steady day and time because it's camping season. And it's the same thing with the Atomic Drop podcast. I'll be on this Friday, but I may not be on for the next week or two after that because of, I want to get as much camping in with the family as I can. And that means going up Fridays without getting strangled by the wife because it's our time together and as a family, and me bypassing Friday nights is I get the old side eye, so I want to stay on her good side. So I know I'm a trophy husband and all, but still. So it is what it is. We all love camping, and so we gotta give and take a little bit here. So I'll be on the Atomic Drop this Friday, but we'll have to wait and see about next Friday or not. But the Silver and Black Lair should make its debut next weekend. Not this weekend, but the following weekend. I'll let you know what day and time. And then once camping season's over, I'll get a steady day. It'd probably end up being Saturday, 10 p.m., the same time as the Vegas sports scene was. But I'll let you know more as soon as that comes up. All right. I've talked enough. That's all I have. I appreciate every single one of you checking the show out and commenting. Everybody. Jung Hoo Lee, Eileen, no Adam Glenn today. So, where the hell's Adam Glenn at? Paul, Joe Sullivan, Stacy, everybody. Thank you for checking the show out. Thank you for commenting. I don't think I missed any. Did I miss anybody? Let me see here. Scroll. Stay. Chris from CPNY Sports. Thank you for checking the show out and commenting. Much appreciated. So that's all I got. I'm wasting time here just in case another comment pops in, but it doesn't look like there will be. So that's all I got. I'll see you guys next Wednesday. Same bat time, same bat channel. Let's go Mets.